Surely Novak Djokovic isn't injured ahead of the Australian Open.
Well, sadly for me, Rafael Nadal is injured and he's out.
Is Elena Rybakina now the favourite to win the tournament?
There's lots to discuss. 1 week to go until the Australian Open, so strap in and get ready for a massive, massive countdown episode.
Novak Djokovic has won the Australian Open. 35 matches unbeaten. He's done it! He wins his 14th Roland Garros title. Djokovic levels the Grand Slam race, gets the revenge for last year. Come on, does it? No way!
Well, hey, we are back. It is the countdown again. Sorry we haven't brought you a countdown last week. We have been a little bit under the weather here at GTL headquarters, struck down over the festive period by some, well, it's a long illness at the moment. And I know we normally say, get yourself a hot drink or a cold drink. I think we've only been drinking hot drinks over the past 2 weeks, haven't we?
Yeah, that's exactly that. But we are in store for a massive episode, like I teased in the intro. The Australian Open, 1 week away, and a lot's happened. I don't know really where to begin, but 2024 has seen some very good tennis, some injuries, and a little bit of everything. We're going to get through as much of it, hopefully, in this episode. And I think probably the best place to start is with my favourite player, Rafael Nadal. And as we know, he has now pulled out of the Australian Open. It is to do with an issue in the muscle, in the hip, which isn't the same issue he had prior. It's another muscle. It's just a strain, a micro tear, as he says here, after the MRI report came back. But that means he's going to have to fly to Spain from where he is at the moment in Australia. And yeah, I'm very disappointed about it. What's your reaction?
I was shocked, to be honest. I know that he obviously had the medical timeout the other day. And the match against Thompson, I thought he actually played pretty well for the first couple of sets. And then, well, it started to go downhill pretty fast. I still have hope for him in 2024. I don't think that this is as bad as it could have been. Like you said on the news video, if it had been the same exact injury, then I would have had much more doubt that he would come back. But I feel that this one, just because it is a slightly different muscle, I actually feel that he will be ready to compete again come the clay court swing, and that's where we all want to see him play anyway. I think that's where he has he's obviously going to be the most dangerous on a tennis court. That's where he's most likely to win a trophy, if he is going to win one. And that's where, if you are a Rafael Nadal fan, if he's going to be competing this year, that's the only place you want to see him competing. Like, I mean, the Australian Open would be great, but I feel that one when he won it, that was sort of like a big last hurrah in Australia for him.
He played really well. I don't think he played bad at all. For someone who's not played for a year, he come back and looked like a player who could mix it with some of the big boys. I don't think the top five, he was quite there with his game. Yeah. But really, aside from the game, the physical side of the sport, for him to be able to get pushed like what Jordan Thompson did to him, that's obviously going to happen in a Grand Slam. Yes. And that's, I feel like, where he's going to become a little bit stuck this year, unfortunately. He's going to have to win matches comfortably and quickly. Otherwise, I can't see him wearing people down in a fifth set or a fourth set and having to grind 1 hour and a half set. It's going to be too much for him. I really don't think that's a way he can win. Unfortunately, that is kind of Rafa's style a little bit. If you look at some of his successes over the years, he is not against or adverse to playing a long match with someone and getting the better of them. We've seen it recently with Daniel Medvedev. That's like a prime example because it's a recent one that comes to memory. But that has been the way he plays. He fights for every ball and treats it like his last. And he pushes opponents into a mental cauldron of just, what am I going to do next? A bit like what Djokovic does too. This is what these great players have to do. Unfortunately, he can't go down that route, I don't think, anymore in his career. He's going to have to beat people quickly. He's got the ability to do so, especially on the clay. But I don't think that's necessarily going to work now on the hard courts, and certainly not on the grass either, when you've got other players who just have a lot of weapons to bring sets to the business end each time. And they're going to nick a few, maybe in a tie break, which means he's going to have to go 4 or 5 sets to try and beat them, like with Taylor Fritz. Yeah. I don't think he's going to be able to get through them at all anymore. But let's wait and see. I think it was still a positive return. I think we played some really good tennis. And, yeah, it was just lovely to see him back on a tennis court.
Yeah, it was. It was great. As short as it lasted. It was actually an exciting tournament for his return. The match against Dominic Thiem, I thought Thiem played really well and made a really great match of it. The next match against Kubler, I didn't really think Kubler was that great, but I thought that Rafa played exceptionally well as well. So it's one of those things. Like you said, he has to play to sort of get matches over quickly. I don't see him lasting through these long matches anymore. I completely agree with you. I don't want to repeat the exact thing you said, but I totally agree. The last time we saw it against Taylor Fritz, we saw how much agony he was trying to get that match over the line in, and he didn't even compete in the semi-final against Kyrgios, and that's what those matches do to him now, it looks like. And it's like it could be irreparable damage. So I feel like he has to think about his body, but he has to think about his body after tennis. And that's the one thing which he has one eye on at the moment. He has a son and he wants to help with his upbringing. Obviously, he doesn't want to be the guy who's limping around at late 30s. That's not a way to live the rest of your life, is it?
Well, let's talk about injuries, because there's another man who's also injured.
Exactly right.
The theme of this episode, you've noticed it in the title. And next up is Novak Djokovic. He lost in the, United Cup or ATP Cup?
Yeah, United Cup.
United Cup, representing Serbia. He lost to Australia in Alex de Minaur. I mean, Alex de Minaur played brilliantly. He beat Novak Djokovic in straight sets. But Djokovic, after the match, instantly said how he wasn't really feeling himself in his body. He didn't want to take any of the credit away from the Demon. He played great, did everything he needed to do. And, of course, that's his first victory against Novak Djokovic now. But Goran Ivanisevic, I'll let you read it out. This is what he had to say regarding Novak Djokovic's wrist.
Yes, exactly. He said, I think Alex played very well. He said, intelligently, from a tactical point of view, there is a problem with Novak's wrist, but the most important thing is that he will be ready in 10 or 11 days, which is great. I mean, do you want to go through the second part as well?
No, not really. That was the main bit.
Okay.
The 10 or 11 days. This is what I want to say. He has had these kind of injury issues in quite a few of them. There's another tweet, I don't know if you want to bring it up, and it speaks about last year's and another year's Australian Open, where there was a similar situation where Djokovic went into them with an injury and he was fine. In 2021, 2023, he was injured and still won the Australian Open. And this injury, granted it's your wrist, it is a bit of a problem. But I feel that it's not that severe and he will be okay come day one. He's got some time to recover now. I know it's granted only a week, but then first few rounds, with his ranking and pedigree there, I think he will be all right to not exert it too much. He said the main problems are the forehands and the serving. So what you'd expect him to do for that first week is probably take a little bit of pace off the first serve. I don't think we're going to be seeing Djokovic serving at his maximum. And then just sort of doing what he needs to do, suffocating the opponent in the rallies. I think the forehand will be enough to do that. And of course, his backhand works brilliantly. So, yeah, Djokovic will be totally fine in my opinion. And he's still the outright favourite for this Australian Open. We've not really seen anything of the others, Alcaraz, Sinner and Medvedev. So I'm fascinated to see how they turn up in Australia. We know I saw Medvedev, was it today or yesterday, training. And he was looking quite good in some of the practice videos. So I'm assuming he's going to be there or thereabouts. But Djokovic for me is still the favourite.
Yeah, most
despite
definitely.
The injury.
I thought you can't really take it away from Alex de Minaur, like they were saying. I think that was a really good performance by him. I think he always plays well down under as well. The start of the year for Alex de Minaur is always good. Playing in Australia especially, he plays better in front of the home crowd. Djokovic, I feel like...
Are you worried a little bit about this injury more than other years or not?
I just don't like the facts of wrist, and I know that we've heard about wrist problems with other players, namely Dominic Thiem, and look how he ended up. I don't like it, the fact it's a wrist. I feel it's more serious than when it's like what was it last year, like a quadricep or something like that. The wrist, the fact that where he lost to Alex de Minaur, I wasn't sure if he was just trying to get out of the match or just trying not to hit the ball with too much torque on his wrist. He was going in the net a lot. He was going long a lot. So it was difficult to know whether he was just playing badly or if it was just like it was a problem and he just thought, I'm not going to win this match, essentially. And he wasn't going to try and like just get out the match. He just thought he'd just play, see if he could maybe hit some winners and stuff like that. It wasn't working, so he ended up losing.
Yeah, I still feel that we're only going to see a really tight Australian Open, though. Despite this, if Sinner plays the same way he was playing towards the end of the year, we see the best Alcaraz, and then we see Medvedev playing his best hard court level. If we get all of them three things, then this is an open slam.
Yeah.
However, I don't know. I don't feel like we are going to see the best of them other three. And Djokovic will play A level, which is good enough, and that's why he's the favourite. That's just my prediction, though. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Of course, you guys know how much I love Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner. I just don't think they're going to be performing at really high levels come this start of the year. I don't know what it is. Just my own prediction.
I feel like Alcaraz will be the main threat, if I'm perfectly honest. And I feel that he will be the main threat because
he's never done anything like Australian Open, though.
He didn't get to play it last year. He was injured for last year. And think how much desire he's going to have going into this year, knowing Djokovic may be carrying a bit of an injury. And I think that he will be confident as well, like that his game style, he's quite powerful. These are very fast courts as well. I think that we could see him go pretty far in this Australian Open. If he gets it's all about a good draw as well. Like, which side's Sinner going to be on in the draw as well? That could play a factor. But then again, Daniel Medvedev, he defeated him at the US Open as well. So there's a lot of things to weigh up in this Australian Open draw, but I'm really excited to see who gets pitted against who and who maybe gets one of these like dangerous unseeded players in the early rounds, because you've got Andy Murray floating around in there. You've got there's some very good players out there, and I'm excited to see if we get like some big matches in the first like 1 or 2 rounds.
Yeah. Let's move on to the women's because they've also started play.
One more, just before we start the women's. I know that this one was quite a funny one that you'd sent me, and I thought
that's for the latest news. We'll bring that up. Oh, okay.
We'll go bring that up on latest news. Okay, go back to the women's then.
Yeah,
all right,
let's move on to the women's. And the only place I want to start is with Rybakina versus Sabalenka in the final of Brisbane. But this one, obviously, on the women's. We've talked about the ATP one. This is the WTA. And Rybakina killed her. Absolutely killed her. 4 in the world. And demolished Sabalenka. Last year, I believe they played 4 times and it was 2 apiece. I don't know. The way Rybakina was playing, I can see her winning all of them. It was just so one-sided. Sabalenka had no answers whatsoever. Rybakina out-aced her. Serving percentages were super high. She won 73% behind her first serve. Sabalenka's service stats were abysmal, by the way. She won 7 out of 20 second serve points. Only 35%, and was lucky not to get really double bageled. She gave her 3 games in the second. I think that was just feeling sorry for Saba.
Yeah, I mean, such an impressive start to the year for Rybakina. I expected it to be a good start. I wasn't quite expecting her to destroy Saba in such a form, and she didn't drop a set the whole tournament as well. This is unbelievable. It was the battle of what was last year's Australian Open final.
Yeah, true.
And we thought that this was going to be like a real close one. I thought it was going to be 3 sets for sure. Rybakina now looks like the hot favourite. Bear in mind she's good against Iga as well on the hard courts, and that is the main person coming into the draw now.
Exactly.
The number 3. Which side is she going to go? Because both Saba and Iga are probably praying that she's on the other side. There's no way in hell either of them want her on their side, because for me, I think she is the favourite.
Yeah, and I think we got something right, actually. I know you predicted her to win this. I also did predict it. And we both predicted her to win the Australian Open in our video we did, what was it, a week ago, for the start of the year. 2024 predictions, go check that out if you haven't already. Me and Ben both had Rybakina to win the Australian Open. Interested to see how the draw plays out, because it's very, very rare that I double down on it. But this year, the way she's playing, I think I might do. That is title number 6 as well for her, which I thought was interesting because I thought it was more. But I think it just goes to show how young she is and how she's not really been on the tour that long. But you consider her now as one of the big hitters. She'll be there for many years. And yeah, I can see her winning a Grand Slam or 2 this year.
Who do you reckon will be second favourite now? Do you reckon it'll be Iga or do you reckon it'll be Saba?
Who's the first favourite?
Well, I'm just saying on your personal... For me, my favourite
I don't
is
understand what you
Rybakina.
mean by second favourite.
Who is your your second favourite to win?
Who's the first favourite? Who is the favourite?
My favourite to win would be Rybakina, and my second favourite would be Iga. Saba third.
I don't know. I don't know between the two of them. Maybe I agree. Maybe I'd go Egan then Saba, just purely because she just didn't turn up in this final.
Iga's had a good United Cup as well, so
Yeah.
she's had a very good start to the year, but in a different like format. She did end up losing in the doubles final to was it Germany's Zverev and Siegmund, I believe it was, managed to win them the cup. But she still had a very, very good start to the year, and she's sort of doing it under the radar over on the United Cup, whereas these two are very much in the limelight, just fighting it out in a final against each other. But yeah, anyway, we should move on from Rybakina, and is it latest news next?
That's right. Right, let's get into the latest news. And we are going to go to Twitter for this one and get some selected tweets. And part of this could potentially be our qualifiers to watch, because latest news at the moment is the qualifiers. There are qualifiers going on as we speak, and as this is being aired to you guys. So hopefully they're not losing too bad as you're watching this video, because we don't know how they're going to be getting on. That is the most embarrassing thing about that. But before we get on to it, let's start with the first story. And that is this one. So, this is quite a funny one. So, we've got Rafael Nadal. Can barely play 2-3 matches in a row without breaking down. Roger Federer, one of his knees destroyed, now walks with a limp forever. Murray, half of his body is now made of metal, a borderline cyborg. And Novak Djokovic, there he is. Just loving life. I believe this was at the Olympics, wasn't it? When he walked in on the gymnast team. But yeah, very funny photo. And yeah, he just seems to be doing it fair and physically a lot better than the others.
I mean, that's just an outrageous pose to be doing. Anybody just listening is the one of him sort of just doing the splits.
I think it's at Tokyo.
I mean, it's incredible. I mean, how's he doing that? And they all, I mean, he's not doing quite as well as the girl next to him. She's gone up another level, I feel like. But
literally, she's lifted her leg up another level. I don't know how that's even possible.
I know. I mean, he's doing well, I think. And the fact that he does that pose on a tennis court during rallies is even more impressive.
Okay, just a weird question now for you. Not tennis related at all, just about life. But see that pose, what they're doing?
Yes.
Say if there was like a machine which forced your body into that pose, what would happen?
I would pull every groin ligament and
No,
tendon.
but would your body actually do it without it being too damaged, or would it just like
No,
rip?
everything would rip. Yeah, everything would rip. You'll be in like agony for weeks, months probably. Everything will be torn.
Yeah, but isn't it annoying that some people can do it and others can't?
Yeah, but it's over time. They gradually
So what they're doing is stretching out the muscles to be able to stretch like that.
Yeah, they gradually just have to get your flexibility up to that level. That doesn't come overnight for sure.
Okay. So I can't just put my body in like a machine which
I think they call that torture. I think that you're calling it.
Right, let's move on to the next one.
All right, next one. And it is, well, I mean, this one we've got to stand and applaud, I feel, because it is Grigor Dimitrov, and he has won a tournament.
Legend.
For the first time in a long time as well, isn't it? Should we go to that bit first, because this is how long it's been. You read it. Go on.
2,240 days later, Grigor Dimitrov is a champion on the ATP Tour once again. I believe the last one before that was the ATP Finals. That was such a long time ago in 2017. He's now won another title. And yeah, you can see how much it meant to him. He was playing amazing last year. Probably had one of his best seasons last year, despite not winning anything. He was looking really good. Now he's actually won something, and we're only in the 8th of January. So brilliant 2024 so far for him. And yeah, he said, can't put it into words what this win means for me. Grateful for the journey to get us to this point. We'll always love Brisbane. Thanks to you, the fans, my family, and my team for all of the support.
Incredible. I just
contender to win the whole thing.
Wow, I mean, it sounds a bit crazy, doesn't it? It's the one person that everybody.
I'd love to see him win the Australian Open.
That would be wild. I think he's one person that everyone could agree that they would actually be happy to see him win it.
I would love it. Yeah, I think we'd all fans from all fan bases as well would be like, yeah, that's quite cool.
Because he has a game style which is so attractive, and he has a face which to many is so attractive as well. Apparently,
definitely to you. You talk about it all the time.
Well,
I feel like
most
you just fancy him.
Everybody on the tour vote. All the other guys vote for him. Even Djokovic came in to his press conference at one point and says, "Why are we not talking about how handsome Grigor is in the press conference?" Which is quite funny. But it's just a running joke. He's a Mr. Nice guy as well. Always there to help out ball kids and other players injured on court. He's just a nice guy, I think, and that's the reason that you like to see. They always say nice guys finish last, and I'd like to see him finish first for a change. And we know that he's been to the semi-finals back in 2017. He's been to the semi-finals of the only one he hasn't is the French. So maybe the Australian Open. I feel like this is one that he's got the deepest in the most. 3 quarterfinals, 1 semi-final.
He's played his best tennis, so why not? I'd like to see him go deep in the second week. And I actually think it's possible with a good draw. Needs a good draw, though. Otherwise, it's going to be tough for him. Just a few words on Holger Rune, who got to the final.
Yeah,
I thought he played well. Just a bit unlucky. Dimitrov did a number on him. But it was close, tight. And Rune, I think, will be pleased with how he started the year. And certainly in for a run-in at the Australian Open. Let's see how he gets on as well. Moving on to the next story. What do we have?
Next story, and well, another winner, and it is a number 1 seed defeating a number 2 seed in the final. It was Coco Gauff. She starts the year with a bang, and this is someone I've got finishing the year as number 2 in my rankings.
Well, just earlier you were saying who's your 2 and 3, and you never spoke about Coco Gauff.
No, I didn't.
Why didn't you? She's just started the year and won a title. You had a 2 in your year-end rankings.
Yes.
She's just beaten Svitolina, who I think has been performing like a top 10 player.
She's playing really well.
And yeah, she'll be a bit disappointed she couldn't win, but it was very tight. It went 3 sets, and Coco just sort of grew into the match as it went on. That is now back-to-back, so she's retained her title. First time she's done that.
Brilliant.
Let's see if she could do it at the US Open. That'll be the one she really wants to retain more than any.
Yes.
But yeah, lovely photo there, and really pleased for her. I think she started the year brightly. I'm surprised you didn't put her higher a second ago when we was talking.
She was number 4 on my list, just in case you were wondering. We know that they're the
so she's your 4th favourite for the Australian Open?
Well, Saba's the reigning champ, so you've got to give her respect. And it's very fast courts. You've got to remember that in Australia.
I think I'm putting her just a little bit above Saba now. I put Saba 5th.
Mentally, I put her above Saba, but physically not.
She's just beaten her, the US Open final.
Yeah, the US Open's a different type of slam to the Australian Open. Hence why Djokovic hasn't won the US Open 10 times.
I think that's because it's towards the end of the year more.
I think the courts are just a bit slower, and his serve isn't as effective.
I feel like you've just done clay and you've done grass.
Say not as effective, he just won it. Last year. Djokovic's not so good there, but won it quite a few times.
100 times,
yeah. Right, there's a little quote here. After beating Svitolina, she said, I'd like to congratulate Elena and your team. What you do, being a mum, coming back so fast at such a high level is inspiring. Hopefully, not anytime soon, I'll be able to do it like you did. Yeah, sure she will.
Yeah, I'm sure she doesn't want it to happen anytime soon as well. But on the subject of mums, Angelique Kerber, another one who's doing very well at the United Cup. Amazing.
Yes.
Some brilliant performances there. and the mums have started off strong.
Nice. All right, I think that's enough for latest news. Should we go on to the...
No, there's not. There is.
No?
That's the end of latest news. But the last thing we need to speak about is our qualifiers to watch.
Oh no! I was
And
hoping to get away from that.
No, you can't avoid that. This is where me and Ben are going to select. I don't think we've got a graphic for this at all.
No, that's the problem. That's what I was thinking. I could
you
make.
Can see what you do. I'll just put this for now. But this is where me and Ben are going to select our qualifiers to watch. 3 for the men, 3 for the women. Nobody's played yet. We can have maybe just bring up the draw and we'll have a little scroll through. And we'll give a name each. Idea. So, I'll go first. Okay. Unless you really want to and you're dying.
Do you go men's first or?
Yeah, we'll start with men's. So,
right.
Out of the... How many names are there? 32?
What? Are you joking? In 16? The qualifying? There's
32,
loads. No? 128 in the qualifying. It's like another mini slam.
No, but seeds, sorry.
Oh, seeds. Yeah, probably 32.
32. I don't think I'm going to pick an unseeded one.
Oh, why not?
Are you?
Yeah, probably.
Show me the draw.
Right, here we go. I'm just going to bring it up.
Mate, there's no way you're picking an unseeded qualifier.
You never know me, mate.
I don't think you do.
Right, okay. Can we see that? That's a bit too small. Let me just make this zoom in a bit. Okay, here we go.
No, that's fine. You can make it a bit smaller, if anything. It's too many.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, so my first one I'm going to pick anyway is going to be Luca Nardi, the Italian. I'm not going to spend too long on all of these because we don't have the time, quite frankly. But Luca Nardi is someone I've been banging on the drum for a while. 13th seed. I like him. Nice draw as well. I think he'll beat the other Italian. And he might have to play another Italian again. I think maybe Gigante might win that one. I don't know. I like Luca Nardi, and he's my number one.
Zizou Berg's in his section there. Could be a little tough one, but you never know. Nardi's a good one. I like that one. Are we just picking one each, or are we going down 3 each, or how are we doing?
3, but this is your number one.
Oh, number one. Well, I'm going to go with someone quite obvious. We haven't really seen the best of him of late, and it's going to be Maxime Cressy. I'm not really happy with who he's got in the first round, to be honest, but if he gets past him, I think then he should be okay. He's playing Sue in the first round, and then possibly Grenier, and then maybe Huesler or Misalik, I reckon.
Well, Cressy is just like a good player, so he's my number 2. So I'm not going to say too much about him, apart from he's the serve, volley...
Master.
Best we've seen. He loves it. It's always there. And he's got some pedigree at the slams. I like him.
Most definitely. That's your number 2. My number 2 was going to be Pedro Martinez. So here he is. He's the number 6 seed, and he's up against Pissarro, which is not an easy match at all. And then could face potentially Crawford or Ivashka, and then Bonadio in this little section here as well. Oh no, he's not. He's down he's down the bottom. Oh, okay, sorry. It's not a bad section. That's why I picked him, because he's actually in good form at the moment, Martinez, and I think that sections are definitely winnable for him. So go with Martinez. He's probably losing right now as I'm speaking, but who knows?
Yeah, because the worst thing is, as we're releasing this, they're playing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to have Goffin as my 3rd.
Ooh.
He got to the quarterfinal in 2017, and I'm going to end with a little bit of experience in David Goffin,
like
the 8th seed.
Playing Travaglia. I mean, that would have been like a really good first round match or something a few years back, but now they're playing in the qualifying. Could have Billy Harris, a British player, in the second round of qualifying. And who else is in that little section? Bear.
It's a good section, man.
Yes, it's a winnable one for sure.
Kopf's got it.
And my final one will be... Where is he? There he is. Djokovic trained.
So you did go for all the seeds.
I didn't pick seeds, but I just picked how I think. Women's I didn't. That's probably what I'm thinking of. But Medvedev, I mean, I think he won the next gen finals. Shelbaya, maybe somebody you might want to watch out for. But if he gets through Cecchinato, I reckon it will be Shelbaya. And then, I think these other ones, I think he'll probably clear them up, to be honest. Serchina, I think that's how you say it, maybe. Yep. He could be the next best. But yeah, they're the 3 for me. Move on to the women's.
Okay, so just a refresher for the men's. I've got Luca Nardi 1, Cressy 2, and Goffin 3.
Quick shout out just before we move on to the women's. Obviously, we've just spoken to Benoit Paire, and we spoke to Diego Schwartzman, and just want to show you where they are in the draw. Check out the interviews with Benoit Paire. There will be Schwartzman coming soon, Bublik soon, and Monfils as well. But this is really interesting first qualifying round. Benoit Paire is playing Jules Marie, and this is somebody with a really interesting story. Go check him out. He's got a YouTube channel which is over 100,000 subscribers, and he was on the tour about, I say 7 years ago, and then he went off the tour, well, about 200 in the world. Not sure if it was due to injury, something like that, and or maybe fell out of love with tennis. Came back 6 years later, started a YouTube channel, and then started his journey back to the top. So now he's around 200 again in the world. So now he's got all the way back there, and now he's playing Benoit Paire out of all the people, and he's actually been in not too bad form coming in, playing a few ITFs. So that would be an entertaining first round matchup.
Okay, on to the women's.
Right, so
my number one here is going to be a player who I'm hoping is going to refine some of her form we saw when she broke through.
Go on.
Do you know who it is?
Anley?
No. I don't think she's going to find it. It's Niemeyer.
Oh, yeah.
It's Niemeyer. I did see something about her. I'm not sure how true this is. Something about her coach. She's changed coach again, and I feel like she's a little bit more settled now with this new one. But yeah, I like her. Powerful, and I'm expecting her to create a few surprises and get through.
Yeah, she's definitely a really good player if she actually starts playing well again.
That's my number one, by the way.
I like that. My number one I have in my one, I think it's been the same for a lot. It's Brenda Fravitova. There she is. She's playing a wild card. Her little section here is not too bad either. Miyazaki in there. I think probably the best one is probably Hrunsakova. And I think she'll get put through this section, though.
It's weird. Your number one's always my number two.
That is weird.
So yeah, she's my number two, Brenda Fravitova.
Okay, my number two is actually Nuria. How do you say it? Parizas Diaz. So I'm going with Parizas.
I looked at her form and I don't like it.
Oh, why is that?
Go for it.
You don't like her form? She just won a tournament.
Did she?
Yeah, she just beat Harriet Dart. She just beat Clara Towson and Harriet Dart and won a tournament in Canberra.
There's another Spanish player in here, which I
okay. Yeah, so that's why I'm picking her. She just won a tournament in Canberra, and so that's the main reason for that one. She just won a tournament. She's in good form. She's coming in. I expect her to do well.
My number three has been inspired from some watching over Christmas.
Go on.
Over Christmas, there was a lot of things on the telly. Littler stole my heart, and for that reason, I've gone for Harriet Dart. I love the darts. 180, Harriet Dart, 12 in the world, not 180. But yeah, she's just a bit of a meme at this point. I do love her, and she's someone I'll always support in a Grand Slam. So, not just that though, I do find her better than a lot of the other British players in a Grand Slam. Even when she loses, I mean, like she gives it a good go, and I don't mind that. If someone loses, that's fine. Losing free, give it a right fight. That's what you get with Harriet Dart.
Just been to a final as well, so
yeah, good player.
So I did have her in there, but then I swapped her for Parizas Diaz because Parizas Diaz won the tournament. That was my only reasoning for kicking Dart out and getting Diaz in. But my third one, is actually right above her. Not in the same section, but it is last year's junior champion, which is Kornieva. And she's up against Sasha Vickery here in her section. She has, I think there's some winnable ones in here. I can't really see, maybe Bondar or Shea Sue are the only ones I think may trouble her. So I think that if she gets past Vickery, she has a really good chance.
There we go. That's our qualifiers to watch. The next section of the video is tennis shootout. Right, so this next section is me versus Ben. A tennis question related to the Australian Open. Would you like to go first or second? We've got 30 seconds to answer. And you've been beating me on a lot of these recently.
I have been. I don't know how that's been happening. Maybe I've been taking my alpha brain. Joe Rogan has been advertising it. Or maybe some AG1, some athletic greens.
Is that why you wear A on your head?
That's it. That's all I ever got at school. No, I wish. I only ever got B's, to be honest, not A's. So
I
B
got a
for
lot
Ben.
of A's. Don't
B
have to gloat though.
Anyway, right. I'll start first then, and I'll ask you a question since you're so confident with all your A's. And I'll give you 4 selections. If you're new to this is where we ask each other a little bit of tennis trivia to do with the Australian Open and find out if we can get it right and have some bragging rights for next week. So my question is going to be, I'm going to get a 30-second timer up. And I'm going to ask you this question. Let me just find the question. This one, it's a nice one. Right, okay. So, Australian Open trivia coming up. I'll get the 30-second sounds ready as well. Here we go. Who failed a drugs test at the 2016 Australian Open? Was it A, Azarenka, B, Kuznetsova, C, Kvitova, or D, Sharapova?
At what year? 2016.
Yeah.
So 8 years ago. I feel like this should be obvious, right? Is it Sharapova, baby, or not? 8 years ago, probably.
10 seconds.
It's weird, I don't know this. It's either Azarenka or Sharapova.
And that's it.
Okay, I'm gonna go for Sharapova.
Correct. There you go. Lovely stuff. I was hoping you wouldn't get that one wrong.
No.
I know that she
I
did have
remember it now.
some bit of problem. Got banned for 2 years
Yeah.
over that one. It was a very, very sour affair, that one. And one that I'm sure she is glad to see the back of. That's for sure. Well done.
My question's a little bit more light-hearted than that, as always. And it relates to last year's Australian Open. I'd like to keep it fresh for you, because I know your memory's that good.
Yeah, it's great.
So, your favourite player ever
Stan
in
Smith.
tennis
Oh.
is Emma Raducanu. We all know that. You're a big Emma fan. My question's about her. During last year's Australian Open, while she was practicing a lot, pre-event and during the event, she was always wearing a very similar T-shirt. What was the animal on that T-shirt?
The animal on the T-shirt.
It was iconic, Ben. You loved it at the time.
Oh, you know me and my fashion as well. Not so good,
It's a
am
fashion, Raducanu. It's got a bit of everything you'd like.
It's going to have a certain animal on it. Why? Just trying to rack my brain for what it could have been. Was it a kangaroo?
Oh, it's got the kangaroo. Is that locked in?
Yeah, I'll have to. It's in Australia.
Okay, well, I've even got it here for you,
Do you
Ben.
have a picture of it?
I do have a photo. Let's see if I can find it. You ready?
Go on.
I can confirm it wasn't a kangaroo. It was a koala. You must remember it. Do you remember the T-shirt now?
Yeah.
Rafael Nadal had it, I think, as well.
Rings a bell now. Yeah, I see it.
It was all over it last year. It was the Nike range with the koala. Ben went kangaroo. I can see what you was going with, but
So we're going
unfortunately,
Australian
that's
vibe.
incorrect.
I know if you'd have given me the options, I still would have probably got it wrong. If you'd have given me kangaroo, koala, snake, what other Australian? Spider.
Crocodile.
Yeah, or crocodile. Yeah, I would have definitely not gone crocodile.
That's
only
Djokovic.
Exactly right. Right. Well, you win this week. Well done to you. And I lose. Oh, well. And let us know if you got that one right in the comments section below. And let us know your qualifiers to watch as well. I want to hear everybody's qualifiers and if they're different to ours.
Right, let's move on to the next section, and that is surprise package. Okay, so this is where me and Ben are going to pick a player on the men's, a player on the women's, who we think are going to go deep. We do have a scoring system for this now, I believe. So I'll have to
I've
find
forgotten
that
what it was
somewhere
like now.
in the archives. But I know it's related to what ranking they are. So the
Yeah.
higher ranked, the more points. The lower ranked, the less points.
Makes sense.
Who are you going to go for? Of course, it has to be a surprise package. I mean, Djokovic is not a surprise package. You'd get 0. You get minus points if you pick him. So who are you going to go for as your number one? Well, not number one. Your one for the men's.
Doesn't it have to be outside the top 10? That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, outside the top 10. Otherwise, you get minus points for them.
It's got to be Grigor Dimitrov.
Okay.
He's number 13, but it just seems like if you're giving me the option, I've got to jump in and just grab him with both hands right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're crazy to do that. I probably would have taken him myself, but he's gone.
You offered me up first.
I might go for a little bit more points then. I'm going to be taking Sebastian Offner as mine.
Oh,
because he's just someone I can cheer and get behind.
Mate, he's in top 40 now. 37 in the world. Go on the off. Come
Still
on.
get a few points there, I think.
That's amazing.
Every round he gets
the
through.
fact he's that high in the rankings.
I think he could get round, like 4th round or something.
I'm hoping a load of
Forwards.
people drop out so he gets in the seeds. No, I'm joking, but I think that he could do well.
Right, for the women's?
Got to go a little bit more dangerous on the women's, surely. I can't just be going super safe. That seems like a very safe one, a 13th seeded player there. I'm going to drop down the rankings a little bit here. I'm actually going to go, and this one's not that... It's a little bit more points, but I think it's worth it. I'm going to go Svitolina.
I knew you was going to do that. I just saw her name. As I was looking, I saw it. Okay. Not mad at that.
I think I deserve that as well, because last year I was picking her when she was down in the hundreds as my surprise package. Remember for Wimbledon, I had a surprise package. Did pretty well.
Okay. So you're going to go with her. Who am I going to go for? That's the real question.
I
think you know who it's going to be.
Yeah, I can see it.
There's a few names here which
Yeah.
I do like. I'm
Let's
going to go
go.
for one you're not expecting. It's Leila Fernandez.
I am expecting.
You wasn't
that.
expecting that.
I was. I thought
You thought it was
going
going to be Vekic, and it wasn't.
No, I thought it was going to be Kenin, and then I thought, no, you'd never pick her.
No, I'm not picking Kenin. I'm going to have Leila Fernandez as my surprise package. And I'm happy with my 2 there. Got some good players, and hopefully they'll get some points. Offner and Leila Fernandez.
Really good. Love those. Oh, right. So I guess that wraps it up for this week's countdown. No Q&A on this one, but please put some questions in for next week's episode in the comments section, and we will be doing one before the Australian Open begins, and that will be on the Sunday. So make sure to stay tuned for that one, and we will answer your questions on that one.
Yeah, please make sure if you've enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and also listen to us on Spotify. Give us a review on there. It really does help us and keeps the channel to grow. But yeah, nothing left to say from me. Thanks everyone, and we'll see you in a week's time for the Australian Open. We have a lot of other videos planned this coming week, some interviews with some players and some other fun stuff too. So yeah, see you guys around. And I'm sad for Rafa, but it is what it is. I can't even say vamos. Goodbye.
Goodbye then.